Absolutely no one saw this coming. Maybe, but the one thing that the Dallas Mavericks have been dealing with for the past calendar year has been injuries. It's something we can't get away from, we can't escape it, we can't run from it. It is inevitable, but it's also a part of the game. Injuries in basketball go hand in hand. And earlier this season, during the trade deadline, we saw the Dallas Mavericks make a trade for a player with the history of being injured. But he had a brand new opportunity to come to a brand new team and show us that he is better than what people say. And in his debut game, Anthony Davis goes down with a groin injury. He missed significant time. He only played about 9 total games for us after the trade deadline, but he has the summer to get healthy. He's got time to rest, recover, and come back better for next season. But reports earlier today show that Anthony Davis had to get surgery, and not the surgery that we thought, as he did deal with a groin injury all season long. This was a brand new injury that required surgery. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the report, see what injury this was, how did he sustain this injury, how serious is it, and what does this mean for Anthony Davis moving forward. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before you start with today's video, we're currently sitting at 21,539 subs. We get closer to 22K every single day. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related all summer long as we navigate through free agency, the summer league, preseason, training camp, every little rumor that's rumbling around about the Mavericks, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But the Dallas Mavericks just can't catch a break. Players continue to get hurt time and time again. It doesn't seem like that was a trend until last season, as even before the start of the season, we dealt with injuries. Luka Doncic had that calf strain that kept coming back. Dante Exum went down with injury, but we knew that we would be okay, or at least that's what we thought. And then the season started. More injuries started piling up. Trade deadline comes. We trade for Anthony Davis, who at the time was recovering and trying to come back from an injury, only to get injured again in his very first game. But today, like I said, we got the reports of Anthony Davis requiring surgery for a completely different injury that me, at least, didn't even know about. And the report right here shows that Dallas Mavericks All-Star Anthony Davis underwent a procedure to repair a detached retina that he suffered during the season. Sources tell ESPN. Davis played through multiple hits to the face last year. He is expected to be healthy for, he says, next training camp. He means this upcoming training camp. Shout out to Shams, always doing good work. But a detached retina? I'm not a doctor, so I had to consult other individuals that are way more knowledgeable than I am to try to understand exactly what happened with Anthony Davis. But on the surface, a detached retina sounds kind of crazy. I mean, that might be why he was missing some shots, why some games it looked like he was moving a little bit slower, trying to get, I guess, in rhythm with his shooting. But a detached retina does not sound like something that you can just laugh off. You can just say, oh yeah, no, you're fine. It'll reattach itself. And myself, as well as other people, thought, is this another thing that our medical staff just overlooked? That when we traded for Anthony Davis and he came to Dallas for his physicals, that we said, oh, groin injury, no problem. Oh, detached retina, cool. You're going to fit perfectly with the Mavericks. Everybody else is already injured. You're already one of us. A lot of people want to know when this happened, what should have happened to prevent further damage, or a lot of people just want answers. And after I did some deductive reasoning and a little bit of Googling, I was able to find a few answers to some of these questions. And the first question is, when did this injury happen? And although I did a lot of Googling, no, I could not find out when, but I do have somewhat of a pinpoint of when this could have occurred. And it was towards the end of the season when the Dallas Mavericks were playing the Atlanta Hawks. And if we do remember that game, Daniel Gafford elbowed Anthony Davis in the face. He went down, left the game, had to get stitches, and came back. But we take a look right here. Mavericks Anthony Davis returns from eye injury to hit game winner and huge result for playoff pursuit. Davis took an accidental elbow from teammate Daniel Gafford, which left a gash over his eye. And like Sham said, he also took multiple hits to the face throughout the entirety of the season. So this may not be the moment it happened, but the most recent, I guess, facial injury that he had was against the Atlanta Hawks. So we can say, I guess, the latest, or I guess the most recent injury against the Hawks could have been when he had this detached retina. But still, a detached retina sounds extremely painful. It sounds a lot more severe than what it is. So maybe it wasn't a detached retina, because obviously you shouldn't be playing with something that severe, but it could have been something a little bit less serious, a little bit more minor, which would put a lot of Mavericks fans at ease. We'll take a look at this right here. Brett Siegel, he is an NBA reporter. His father is an optometrist. He asked his dad about it, and official word from Dr. Siegel, the eye doctor, saying full retinal detachments must be addressed right away. What Anthony Davis likely suffered was a small tear in the retina and an injury that could lead to detachment. They probably held off until now and fixed it with a laser. And shout out to the many, many more educated people than I am that actually went to college for this type of stuff. Let me know as well exactly what most likely happened, since a lot of the news is very surface level of, hey, he had an eye injury, got surgery. From all that I was told, Anthony Davis had a minor tear, which doesn't really go noticed until you actually have a proper examination. And since nothing seemed to be bothering him, they didn't think about checking his eyes for any further damage. He was still good to go out there and play from a very surface level examination, at least. We all know Anthony Davis was dealing with a groin injury. We were very cautious about that after he got injured, obviously not in that first game. So we know that Anthony Davis had some form of tear of his retina, but he did have surgery, and according to Sham's report, he should be back for training camp. But one thing that should be put into context with all of this news, which isn't that big of a deal, but however, it should put fans at ease that Anthony Davis is actually a fighter. He's a good player. He's an MVP candidate, an MVP level player over several seasons. His numbers don't lie. The effort's definitely there, and he wants to win. That game against Houston, when he went down with a groin injury, he was fighting to come back. He wanted to go back out there. Anthony Davis could easily be like any of these other stars that, yeah, you put up good numbers when you're healthy, but you really do milk it when you're injured. Players like Ben Simmons, or even Joel Embiid, who throughout his entire NBA career he has missed 44% of his games. Joel Embiid has only ever played 55, about half of his games of his entire NBA career, missing the very first season with an injury. Anthony Davis has missed time due to injury. I'm not going to ignore that. He is, I guess, to an extent, injury prone. And a lot of things can change on this Dallas Mavericks team, as we have a lot of good players around him to try to take some of that workload off. We're also playing him at the 4, less time at the 5, which should help with injuries. But let's take a look at how good Anthony Davis was last year, actually. For the season last year, Anthony Davis put up 24.7 points, 11.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2.2 blocks, 1.2 steals, 2.2 turnovers, and 1.9 fouls per game, while shooting 51% from the floor and 28% from 3. These are the numbers of a man who's constantly injured, that people call street clothes, that say that his bones are made out of paper, that he's only going to play 20 games and miss the whole season. When in reality, over the last several seasons, he's actually been playing a good number of games while also dealing with injuries. And he had a detached, a retina, a partial tear retina, whatever level of injury he had with his eyes was still out there. And in that Hawks game where he had to get stitches over his eye, he hit a game winner. Anthony Davis has his flaws. Like every other great player, he has his flaws. He's not perfect. But to know that we have a guy like Anthony Davis who, when he has groin injuries or a detached retina, he still wants to go out there, he still wants to fight, he still wants to give it all for his team. He didn't ask to be traded here. That's something I think a lot of us need to keep in mind. Anthony Davis did not ask to come to Dallas. He does not owe Dallas anything. He could easily leave at the very first chance he gets. But instead, he chooses to stay for now. He chooses to stay, he chooses to fight, and he chooses to win. But we all know that history will repeat itself. It does time and time again. And if or when Anthony Davis gets injured, we will have the proper people in place to make sure that the team will be fine, whether that be a better medical staff, because we did fire the less qualified individuals in lieu of more qualified individuals. We also have other players around him that can easily pick up the slack, like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively, so he doesn't have to play too many minutes at the 4 and play even less minutes at the 5. We also know that with Cooper Flagg here, AD, you want to take a game off? We'll throw Cooper Flagg out there against, I don't know, the Wizards or Charlotte Hornets. It will be totally fine. There's a lot less pressure on players like AD, like even Dante Exum, even Kyrie Irving, other players that are also dealing with injuries that we should see, hopefully, fingers crossed, less injuries moving forward. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is just another bad luck for AD? This is just on par for the course that he's obviously getting injured time and time again? Or do you, like me, applaud him for the fact that with all these injuries that constantly come after him, he still goes out there, he still tries to fight, he still tries to win? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for being part of the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.